survive. Emotionally ruined, he didn't know if he would ever revive. Every day he felt the pressure as his will to live grew lesser and lesser. Eventually the pain took over, his heart became weaker, his hands would shiver, and he almost stopped being a believer. Some of you might hear this and assume he might have had cancer, but trust me, it's worse. What could be worse than cancer? Depression is your answer. Now, again, some of you might hear this and be like, no, depression, it's all in your head. But with that said, depression is real, and it is the reason that millions are dead. His so-called friends would make fun of him. They insulted him, they used him, and then they abused him. To quote one incident, they once broke a window and they had the audacity to accuse him. Amongst all of these incidents, one incident went physically out of hand. And I think that this was the life-changing miracle that the universe had for him planned. You know, actually, you can be surrounded by hundreds and still feel lonely inside. And that feeling is very, very bad, and it just doesn't easily subside. Mix that feeling with bullying, any form, physical or verbal, to not fall into depression, that would be a real miracle. His friends, amongst them a bully, once said, "You better go get us some food." That he said with a grin. Oh, what? He finally stood up without thinking of what the consequences could have been. Enraged, the bully punched him hard in the face, but he had enough. He wouldn't stand up to this form of disgrace. He got up and he started punching the bully again and again. He became furious, just like a lion trying to protect its den. And he did not stop. He continued this until the bully collapsed to the floor and he lay there unconscious without the possibility to fight anymore. People who stood there just stood there in shock and in awe, because even he couldn't believe himself. Was it a dream that he just saw? But no, this might have seemed insignificant, but it is the incident that made his life different. He slowly rekindled the light that was going dim, because he realized that all he needed for his revival was always within him. The courage to stand up for what was right, and the courage to fight and live his own life. If he could do this, any one of you listening can do this too. Because he might have been hurt, but trust me, if he could get out, all of you have that within you. Depression is real, but I know you can fight against it. Because even he didn't know that he could be happy until he commenced it. If you feel suppressed, misused, or mistreated, it's time you stood up for yourself, because you really need it. You have the choice, so raise your voice. You won't regret it, trust me, you'll only rejoice. Because you're just as good as those 7.1 billion other people on this planet Earth. And you are the best you can be from the day of your birth to the day you go back to the dirt. You have to live your life full of vim, zest, and mirth. And if you cannot make yourself happy, then let me be cursed, because I have faith in you. And you should have faith in yourself too, because you are the best you that anyone can ever be. And when you realize that, you will finally feel free. This might have been the story of only one boy's revival, but if you take this seriously, it can be the story for your survival. I cannot make this any more lucid. I've given you a story, a form of advice, and it's your turn to use it. Thank you.